Welcome back to
Explaining to my roommate.
I think it's funny how we never get that right.
No, and I don't think we ever will,
Nope.
to be totally honest with you.
Not at all. Anyways, well, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 10.
Yep.
Which we have deemed a very special episode because this is our 10th one, and I feel like 10 is a mile.
It kind of is. I mean, that we've managed to actually do this. I'm going to move the mic away from my face a little bit.
But yeah, so we have decided, and by we, I mean I came up with the idea and Easton went along with it, because that's how most things go. So we have decided that every 10 episodes we're going to do kind of like a combined episode where we either A, talk about a common topic that we both like,
which isn't very many things,
which there are not a lot, or we'll do some fun episodes like how we did in episode 3 where we asked questions about each other.
Yeah.
So today, after some deliberation and some slight confusion and mix-ups, we have decided to talk about our customer service issues, angers, grievances.
Our worst customer.
I have compiled a list of 5 of my worst customers. Easton has also done something very similar of the sort. This is where we had confusion earlier. And we are going to discuss them.
Yep.
Do you want to go first?
Okay. So I feel like it's not very dramatic, but so there's this one lady who always, she'll come up.
Okay.
And if she doesn't like her drink, she'll drink it. And then she'll like pour some of it in my sink over all my fucking dishes. And I've asked her multiple times to not do that. Because she gets like a drip coffee. And if you don't put enough, like if you don't put the perfect amount of cream in it, and then she'll like take my water. And I'm like, ma'am, you can just tell me. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like, give it to me. And I'm like, I don't have to sanitize all these dishes. It's really annoying. And she works there, too.
Oh,
she works in a different department.
That's terrible.
And I'm like, ma'am, I've told her.
Have you told her that's against, like, health code?
I've looked at her and I've said, ma'am, I don't mind if you dump, like, it in my sink. Just give me a warning first so I can take my dishes out. Because now I have to sanitize these. And she just kind of went, like... and like left. And I was like, ma'am, I don't know. Anyway, so that's my first one. The lady who pours her drip coffee in my sink. There's a trash can right there too. By the way, just thought I'd share that.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I gave names to all my customers, so I think it's funny. This one is called Special Order Wrong Delivery. So I think I've told this one.
Yeah.
So basically, where I work at a bakery, and we get our cakes from different bakeries in the city, and they all deliver to us. And so you can order special order cakes. So this lady, like, called the day before she needed a cake, which happens fairly frequently. If anybody's listening to this, if you have a cake that you need to order, do not wait until the day of or the night before to figure something out, unless you're going to bake it yourself, because it's hard. Anyways, so she calls. I managed to get her a fully custom cake for the day after. And not just like, she called at like noon.
Yeah.
It's like 24 hours. She wanted it by noon the next day.
No.
Okay.
No.
I called the bakery and I was like, can you do this? And they did. And like fully custom.
Yeah.
She wanted a completely different color than all of their base cakes and writing and different decoration. I got it figured out. So, unfortunately, day arrives, and we get the delivery from the company she ordered the cake from, and then she comes in a little bit later looking to pick up her cake, and the cake's not there. So we called the company. They delivered it to the wrong store.
Of course they did.
And this lady, I'm trying really hard to work with her.
Yeah.
When it comes to customers, I will say, who have accents, most of the time, I am not phased. Yeah. I do it all the time. But it does add an extra, hurdle I have to cross, which is fine. I'm willing to cross that hurdle. Mm-hmm. So it was making it a little bit difficult because some things I couldn't understand what she was saying. But I worked with her and we figured out the cake and we figured out a plan. But she was so upset with me because I couldn't give her more of a discount than I had already given her. She wanted more discount. And I'm like,
I already gave you a discount.
I gave you a discount. I can't do any more. And so I ended up just calling my manager and, he doesn't really want to deal with customers like this. So she's like, sure, I'll give you one just to get you out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I have. She was getting mad at me, and it was not my fault. I had done everything in my power. I'd gone out of my way, and that was just really frustrating.
All right. My next one is, so it's multiple customers, but it's also one because one of them was my last straw. So I work at a casino and I have to put the money on the counter. I got to put the money on the
Yeah,
counter
yeah,
and I got to show my hands, as you know,
yeah.
because I embarrass myself in the Walmart. Every time I pick something up, I put it back down and I
Have to clear
flip
your
my
hand.
hands a little bit. And like people are so rude about it. I ask them to put their money on the counter and they like throw it on the counter. They like throw their change on the counter. And my manager believes that we have to put bills on the counter, but we can hand them change.
Mhm.
But like multiple times I have put people's bills on the counter and tried to hand them the change because, you know, you don't want to pick up coins off the counter.
Yeah,
That's
that's
annoying.
frustrating.
And they'll ask me to put it on the counter in like such a rude way. They'll be like, put that on the counter for me. And I'm like, oh, there's not rules about changing. This one man, he said, for me, there are. And I fully just opened my hand and dropped the coins on the counter. And ever since then, I put the coins on the counter too. And if you're nice to me, I put them on the bill so they're easier to pick up. But if you're mean to me, I put them on the counter.
Yo, that's great.
Like, just, there you go.
Like, I don't understand. God,
You're like,
that's
you're
so
at a casino.
frustrating.
You're at a casino. And like, sometimes people will be like, oh, you have to do that too. And I'm like, well, everyone who judges cash is supposed to.
Yeah,
We're supposed to.
That's-
Not everyone does because people, I guess, don't care about their jobs.
I
like,
guess.
whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's really annoying when people are rude about it and they like throw it at me. I'm like, okay.
That's so frustrating. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 2 person is didn't ask the right question. I may have told you this one. I'm gonna preface this by I was already having a rough day. It's always on the times you're having a rough day. I like don't remember why I was having a rough day, but I was tired and exhausted. So she walks past the cake case. I see her. We have a thing called the 10-foot rule. Basically, you have to interact with any customer that comes within a 10-foot radius of you. I hate it. It's like the worst rule ever. Anyways, when she walks past, I ask, are you finding everything all right today?
Yeah.
And she goes, yes, and is kind of like off put and then walks away. My manager comes up like 20 or so minutes later. She goes, I just got a call on the phone from a customer who said she was just in the store saying she was really upset with how you addressed her.
What?
She was upset that I didn't say, what can I get for you today?
What?
And instead I said, are you finding everything all right today?
But she didn't walk up to the bakery counter, did she?
She did. She walked up to the bakery counter and was upset that I said, are you finding everything all right today?
Yeah.
Instead of, what can I get for you today?
Okay, that's still stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
so little does she know, if she would have just stood there for, would have said yes, stood there for a little second, she would have gotten that, is there something I can get for you today?
Like, what if she needed a moment to decide?
Exactly.
Like, what if she had questions?
So, yeah, that was really irritating.
Yeah.
I apparently use the wrong words all the time, and it really frustrates me when customers are, like, not responsive because I didn't use the words that they were anticipating. Anyways.
Let's see. Number 3 is a lady who yelled at me for wearing a mask at work. So there was, like, a mom and a daughter, and the daughter was wasted. She wasted.
Just hammered.
And, like, she first started with, like, asking me, like, why I wear a mask, and I was like, well, like, I mean, look at this place.
Yeah.
This is a casino. We get people from all over the world. Who knows what they have.
Yeah.
Don't want to bring that home to my mom, who I live with. And, like, and then she was, like, starting asking, and then she was like, but, like, what about acne? I'm like, I have acne anyway. I'm on testosterone.
I was gonna get it no matter what.
Like, there's nothing to do about it. And then her mom is, like, trying to get her to leave, and then she starts being like, masks are stupid. And I'm like, then why do they wear them during surgeries? Why did doctors wear them? Why did doctors wear them then? Yeah. It was like, it went on for like 10 solid. Like, I was covering a break. I was not at my venue. I was covering a break at a different venue. And I swear it was like most of the 30-minute break I was covering, or at least it felt like that. Like, it just kept going. I'm like, girl, take your water bottle and leave.
I don't get why people have such a problem with others wearing masks.
No, and it happens like occasionally. People will be like, so why do you wear a mask? And I lie. I say, oh, my mom is really sick.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad spends a lot of time in the hospital, and I just want to like be safe.
Be
And then
safe.
it shuts them up.
No.
It's like, yeah, and sometimes I do it like I'm benefiting you too, because like, what if my mom gives me something and then I give it to you?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Literally.
Yeah, so it really frustrates me.
That's so
It's like, leave me
frustrating.
alone. You don't need to know why I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Honestly, the real reason I wear a mask is so I don't have to smile at people. I'm not even joking. I didn't wear a mask for one day, and I was like, man, I have to smile at all these
Yeah.
people.
I get that.
Anyway, don't tell my manager I said that.
I won't. Anyways. Okay, this one is just called the Cookie Lady.
Mm-mm.
A little bit of backstory. So we have these brand of cookies that to date their items, they use what's called the Julian date, which is basically it's a 4-digit number. The last number is the year that it was made. So for if it was baked in 2024, it would be a 4.
Okay.
And then the next 3 numbers are the day of the year it was baked.
Okay.
So if it were 1534, it'd be the 153rd day of 2024, and that's the day it was baked. And you just have to count 90 days from that. When I was helping this customer, I didn't realize that you had to count 90 days from that date. So this lady comes up and she's trying to buy this cookie for her friend.
Yeah.
And she's like, when do these expire? I don't know how to read. And I had just learned how to read the actual like number code itself, and I didn't know about the 90-day. And so every one that I was like trying to figure out the number for, they looked like they had been expired. Yeah. Because it was like October and all these were saying September.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what? And she's like getting she's getting way mad at me.
Okay, you're trying to help her.
I'm trying to help her, and like she is just determined and she's starting to yell at me. She's raising her voice. At this time, I call over my coworker who I think knows how to do it, and like this lady says one rude thing to Jeannie, and Jeannie walks away because Jeannie doesn't care about customers that are rude. She'll walk away. She doesn't care. And then like in this time period that I'm trying to help this lady who's like practically yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like a group of people come up to look at the macaroons, and she goes, "I'm being helped right now."
They didn't say anything.
They didn't. They literally didn't say anything. And these poor people, who I wouldn't say poor, they like were on my side, looked at her and with like the stankiest face and was like, "We weren't trying to cut you."
Yeah.
And then when she walked away, these guys were like, so sorry about that. And I'm like, you do anything.
It's fine. It's just rich people.
But no, she was like, yeah, to get her to go away, I lied.
Good.
I looked at her.
I love lying.
I looked at her and I said, this one expires on this day. Here you go. And she took it and she walked away. And because I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore.
No, I love lying. It's my favorite
However,
thing.
now that I know how the date works, I actually didn't lie to her. I mean, I may have short shelved it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have been. She wouldn't have been eating expired cookies.
Honestly, let her.
It was for her neighbor. I'm not gonna.
Okay. So, okay. All right. My number 4 is the girl who used to work in my department and now she's a server. Former baristas are the worst. Okay. I never want to be a stereotypical former barista. Why are you coming up to me and ordering the most complicated things? First of all, at a certain point, you're just being complicated to be complicated. At a certain point, it doesn't actually make a difference.
Yeah.
Your 6 flavors, you cannot taste them all. No, you can't. And like the wanting it like extra sweet and like 3 shots white coffee, 3 shots dark coffee. I'm like, what? I don't like espresso. Okay, I like white coffee and I like cold brew, but I'm like, maybe it's just because I don't like espresso, but like I feel white coffee and espresso have different tastes.
Yeah.
I mean, white coffee is espresso, but
they do taste different.
No, they taste so different. Like what? Huh? And I forget what she gets, but she's always like rude about it. And she's one of the people who asks for whipped cream after we've left the register. Now, my stand doesn't charge for whipped cream, but we used to. We charged when she worked there.
Damn.
When she was working there, we charged for whip. I know what she's doing.
She's trying to get.
I know what she's doing.
Trying to cheat the system.
And like 6 shots, breve, extra sweet. I'm like, you're gonna die.
Damn.
You're gonna die,
You're
girl.
gonna have a heart attack.
And then she'll like she'll talk to me when I'm dropping my tips too. Like sometimes she gets off work at the same time as me and she's like, "Oh yeah, I used to work there." And I'm like, "Girl, I know."
I know you.
I know. And apparently you were a pain to work with according to my manager.
Ooh,
Apparently she
that's
was
the
there
tea.
before COVID. She transferred like during the time when the casino was closed for COVID. But like I'm
Okay.
like so she was there before me. But I'm like, I I know you used to work there. You
Yeah.
tell me. She'll be like, "Yeah, I used to work here. I know how crazy it gets." I'm like, "Then why are you here on a concert night? Leave me alone. Why are you taking orders from guests? Why are you taking orders from guests 5 minutes before I close?" Getting her own coffee 5 minutes before I close, fine. Maybe that's her first break of the day.
Yeah.
But getting guest orders 5 minutes before I close,
No.
like walking up to a guest and saying, "Hey, do you want a coffee?" when you know I close? No, no.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm like, the guest on the slot machine doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
leave them alone.
Leave him.
Let them gamble away their mortgage. It's
Literally.
fine. Anyway, yeah, she really annoys me. Every time
That's.
I see her, I like a little bit of me dies inside. I'm like, I just,
Oh, I
uh,
get it.
yeah. I'm like,
That's so
leave me alone.
frustrating. Ugh.
I don't know. The servers drive me insane.
Oh yeah.
Half of them are just the stupidest people you've ever met. I could be a server if I wanted to deal with the people on the slot machines. Like they'll come up and they'll be like, the guest wants this. I'm like, what size? They don't know. Hot or iced? They don't know.
What?
They don't know. They have to go back and ask.
Then what did then? I want to know what they asked the customer then.
I don't know. I mean, some of them are like the floor servers are either like the nicest people ever,
Mm-hmm.
people who I really like my favorite regulars, or they're the stupidest people on the planet. I'm like, what is your problem?
That is.
Like,
It
anyway,
is.
yeah, but she's the worst one because she talks to me. That's why she's the worst. Anyway,
Okay. So this guy is called Hands on Fish Guy.
what?
They don't make sense. So this was during the brief period of time where I was working in the meat department. Um, I hated every second of that. Anyway, so I was working in the meat department. Now I'm gonna preface this by when I'm working in the meat department, the amount of old white men that don't think I know what I'm doing. So this guy wanted a like a piece of steelhead,
Yeah.
a piece of the steelhead fillet, and so they come in long fillets, and you can cut them up based off of the weight that people want. So this guy, first of all, I could already tell, was like not wanting to work with me
Yeah.
and didn't think I knew what I was doing, as per usual. And so like I don't remember what happened, but I had put the whole fillet on the scale to see how much it weighed to try and figure out how much of this fillet the guy wanted. And so he goes to take his hand and
No.
gets his hand so like he goes to start like pointing at the fillet where he wants it cut, but
Yeah.
it is too close for my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I grab the fish
Honestly, fair.
off of and I hold it up for him and I'm like, and I'm pointing here. Do you like it here? And he's still trying to reach and
No.
point it. And I'm like, and most of the time, after I pull it away from them and start using my hand to point,
Yeah.
they like get the gist of
Mhm.
I don't want your hands by my food.
Yeah.
This guy was not getting it.
No. Why would he?
And he tries to point again. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, I can't have your hands close to the fish. It's a hazard. I can't have it.
Yeah.
And so I can tell he didn't like that.
No. Why would he?
No. So we finished the transaction. And he goes up to the front and he complains.
Of course he does.
And one of the managers comes back and is like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "This guy tried to touch the fish and I told him no."
Yeah.
And you can reprimand me all you want, but I'm sorry. And they got it. They like I was not in trouble. Cuz like I'm sorry, you can't touch
No, you can't.
the food. Like
I just don't understand. Like, have you never been to a store before?
I'm going to come into your house and lick all of your food.
Yeah, like
that's what's gonna happen. So that's that. I wish people would understand that that's the like same gist. Is someone coming in and like licking all of your food. Anyways, that was Fish Guy.
Right. I saved the best one for last, and I've changed the name. But this person has a real name, and we're gonna call them Michael. Okay. So, this story starts years ago.
Oh,
years ago when I was working at Baskin Robbins.
Oh my gosh.
And Michael comes in well, a huge group of people comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and this one person orders a expensive, limited time special thing, and I make it, and I
Mm-hmm.
bring it to the counter, and they claim that they didn't order it. They did. They did. They ordered it. And then the person paying tries to pay with 100, and
No.
we couldn't do that at the Baskin
Yeah.
Robbins. And the owner of the Baskin Robbins was like, I've told that family they can't pay with 100 multiple times. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, this is not the first time.
And then I go work at the casino.
Oh.
And this is years later. I worked at the Baskin Robbins when I was 16. I got hired at the casino at 19. 19? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I, guess who shows up?
That is.
I could not forget that face. I remember that scarred into my memory. One of my first bad customer service experiences with Michael. And Michael is a terror on the baristas.
God.
I am lucky. I am one of the ones that Michael likes.
Oh.
Okay? But like, you do one thing wrong one time and they have a vendetta on you. They will scream at you. They will scream at the manager. They will tell you that they don't want you to make their drink. Like,
yeah.
And it's not even a complicated drink. It's just if you do something wrong one time. My grandma just called me. I'll call her back later. Anyway, like if you just like even do like a little thing wrong one time, if you don't make their ice light enough, like, and they have worked at the casino in the past and they got fired.
Oh. Okay.
They have fought other employees.
Like with fists?
Yeah.
Holy
Off property, admittedly.
Oh my
but
God.
that's maybe a little too telling. Hopefully no one at my casino listens to this, because there's only one person that applies to. And then they got rehired at a different property, but same owners.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in, and like some of the baristas refuse to serve them. Like I said, I'm very lucky that they like me and that they'll like have like a conversation with me, but I'm trying to get them out the door.
Out of the way.
Like I'm terrified, truly, of this person.
Holding your breath the
like
entire
every time, like I'm like, if they don't order the extra shot, I'm like, are they gonna accuse me of forgetting their extra shot? Like sometimes I just put it in anyway, no charge.
No charge, an extra shot just in case.
And they get a discount too.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
see,
it's I
don't think I could be a barista.
No,
because I would get fired so fast because I'm not gonna
like put up with it.
But no.
Yeah, and you I don't know, you don't have to deal with cash handling at your job.
I don't.
And
I used to have to.
Yeah, when you were at your old retail job. But like half of my problems are like cash handling. I'm like, no, you did not give me a 20.
No.
No, you didn't. This is a casino. There are cameras. I will call TGA. But yeah, no, the customers are just, the thing about like a bakery and the cakes is like they're pre-made. Like no one can yell at you for, well, they can, but like they can't be like, fix it for me. Like I don't know.
I can't.
So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't think I could handle like fast food.
Yeah.
Not that I'm too good for fast food. I think I'd literally just
shut down.
Yeah. I'd just cry.
I'd shut down. Okay.
Anyway.
Now we have my last customer, which you know this story.
Oh,
but I'm gonna tell it. She's called Crazy Corporate Lady with an Imaginary Boyfriend.
Do I know this story?
Maybe. Okay. So I am gonna get a little bit of background about this customer. So she was a regular. She first started off with like having a standing order technically.
Yeah.
We got these like oat bars from one of the bakeries we get from, and we would get them every Tuesday. Only Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And so she came in one day and she's like, "Can I have a standing order for 2 of these every Tuesday?"
You guys do that there?
So the thing about standing orders is we try not to, because every time we've attempted to do a standing order, they don't show up, which then is like a loss for us. So basically we say, yeah, that's fine. The first week, it turns out that it was for an Instacart. She was doing an Instacart order and was telling the person who was doing her Instacart order that it should be held in the bakery because it was for her standing order that an Instacart shopper was picking up. So, it's fine.
Yeah.
She like no one else came in that night and was like, "I have a standing order for this." The Instacart person was like, this person, and it was name matched. So we're like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
fine.
kind of frustrating. But then she eventually starts coming in by herself, and she always would talk about her boyfriend.
Mm.
And I never saw him. And she was in there quite often. So that's kind of why I say imaginary boyfriend, because she talked about him a lot. And I saw very little signs about
Yeah.
any boyfriend. Now, mind you, maybe she did. And I
long
just
distance.
I don't know. But she always talked about him. Anyways, um, she was, I, she was kind of a difficult customer to
Yeah.
work with. She kind of had an attitude. Think of like a stereotypical um like older millennial brunette.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So she so she becomes the more interactions I have with her, the more difficult it becomes
Yeah.
to deal with her. She eventually like stops the standing order, or we stop it because
Yeah.
she stopped coming in regularly.
Yeah.
And so I eventually like get I I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I start sending my coworkers to go and help her because it's very clear that she also doesn't like me.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there was some miscommunication between her and another coworker of mine about what days the oat bars deliver. And so one day I was having a really rough morning and she walks up to the counter and I look at Toby and says, I cannot deal with her right now. You take her.
Yeah.
Toby's my coworker. Sorry, I didn't mean to name drop, but
Yeah, it's fine.
And so I kind of walk away and I go to try and help another customer and I'm kind of ignoring this lady. And she doesn't need help.
Mm-mm.
But then she comes back and she goes to Toby, what's her name? And points at me. And I'm like, I didn't even help her today.
Yeah.
Why is she asking for my name? So I immediately, preparing myself, walk up to the front, find the managers, go, hey, look, this lady asked for my name. I don't know if she's still in the store. It just happened.
Yeah.
She may be coming to complain about me. I don't know. I didn't serve her today. So I told all my managers about that. And no one came up that day.
Yeah.
But then, like a week later, my GM comes to talk to me. He goes, so what happened with this lady?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I didn't even help her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can tell you about my experience with her in the past. It hasn't been great. So she wrote an email to corporate and she claimed that my general manager, the juice bar, and me, name dropped everybody. I think she just said the juice bar name dropped my manager and name dropped me, said that we were gaslighting her.
What?
Yeah. Didn't say what we were gaslighting her about, but that we were just gaslighting her. And what's crazy about this is I still to this day don't know what happened.
No.
She has never come in since that day.
Damn.
That she asked
thank
for
God,
that
right?
she no, literally that she came in a couple days after she asked for my name, and after that I never saw her again. And neither of my coworkers. My coworkers know who this lady is. So she complained, and I was like talking to my GM about it. And he's a pretty chill dude sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll support you if you support me because we really don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on either. My theory is that, first of all, the miscommunication on what days things delivered. I think my coworker told her Wednesdays. That wasn't right. And I kept telling her Tuesdays. And I think she thinks I was the one that was wrong.
Of course.
But I'm thinking she's a very particular lady. She was very specific about things. And I'm wondering if the juice bar, like if she either A, makes the smoothie at home or makes the drink at home and it doesn't taste the same as in the juice bar.
Yeah.
And that she maybe asked for something specific and she can't taste it, so she thinks they didn't do it. And I'm sure my manager like backed up the juice bar because he supports us. He supports his employees. And probably backed up the juice bar, which then made her want to harass him. But yeah, so that's I have. I'm about to stop working for this company in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I have worked there for almost 3 years, and I've only had 3 customer complaints.
Let's see.
And she is the number one. She's I probably
top.
and what's crazy is she's probably like the worst customer I've ever had to deal with.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have that many she didn't even really yell at me ever.
No.
Or have that much like face to face terrible interaction. It was all done like behind the camera and stuff like that. But yeah, so that was my number one worst customer. That's all I have left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're gonna talk about just the times we almost quit.
Yep. A few stories of we've talked about our worst customers. Now
Yeah.
we're just gonna talk about the job in general that really pushed us to the edge.
Okay, well, I went first last time. So
okay, me first.
Yeah.
So, when you turn the lights off at night, customers don't understand. I experienced this both in the bakery and in the meat department. But like when the light is off, we are closed.
Yeah.
We have a closed time. In the bakery, it's a little bit iffy. Like you are still supposed to serve people after you close. If not you, then the people working up front have to do it.
Yeah.
But like, it's so frustrating when customers walk up to your counter at whatever time we close. It was probably like 8 p.m. and they stare into a dark case and expect you to get something out of it.
No.
I look at them and say no.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't gotten in more trouble for telling customers no, because I will not serve them after a specific point. I'm sorry, literally. We're closed. No. And most of the time, it's when I'm running behind in my clothes.
Yeah.
And they look at me and they go, "Can I get something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry.
We're closed."
Most of the time, most people will like turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't. So that's the main thing. It doesn't quite have to do with anything in the meat department, but mainly because in the meat department, I can tell them no. In the bakery, I can't quite tell them no. But it's when customers stare at you're turned off, like you were not open.
Literally.
Go away.
Get out.
So, yeah.
No, like, I kind of have the opposite problem. This wasn't one of the ones I was going to tell. But, like, people will come up and be like, they want me to open early. I don't open early.
Yeah.
Some of the baristas open early, not me. No. Mm-mm. And they're employees, too. Like, they're standing there. And I'm like, there are 2 other cafes that open at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. Not me, okay? Because I'm here later than those baristas.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't open early. Like, go away.
Go walk yourself upstairs.
Let's see. Okay, so mine is also kind of about working in a different department. When they had me working at the stupid little cigarette, like, okay, so it's this like little
convenience store.
Yeah, it's basically a convenience store in the casino. The lady working there got fired, and my manager was like, "Would you work there on Friday?" And I said, "Sure," thinking it would be one shift. I was there Friday, Saturday for 2 months.
Was it really 2 months?
It was 2 months. And guess what? I wasn't getting paid the rate that, like, I have asked for back pay. They've told me no.
That's crazy.
Because I technically got tips.
Yeah.
But, like, I was still, like, not making as much money as I would have if I was in the cafe.
Yeah.
And I was, like, working till midnight on New Year's.
Oh, yeah,
actually, on New Year's, it was 2 a.m. because we were open late.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, and, like, there was this one dude who I told him that I could only return the vape if it was burnt, and he clearly just didn't like the flavor, but it was past closing time, so I just returned it anyway. He was like,
it was burnt.
I was like, I don't care. And, like, dude's, like, hitting on me. I am not, like, I don't consider myself, like, very attractive, or, like, I'm also not very feminine at all.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you're not very feminine.
No. But, like, I guess the dudes who walk up to get their $20 cigarettes don't care. They just wouldn't leave me alone. And you mentioned, like, people with accents earlier. My thing is I'm putting so much effort to communicate with you. Yeah. And you are not giving me the same back. Like, I'm trying so hard. I'm using my limited Spanish. I'm trying my best. And you're just staring blankly at me as I try to figure out what cigarettes you want nightly. Every night. Every single night. So it's
That's crazy.
And people being like, $20 for a pack. I'm like, yeah, it's a casino. Go to the Walmart down the street. Literally. Leave. Go.
Even go to the gas station.
Yeah. Like, just a block away. I think they're like a few dollars cheaper at the gas station. I'm like, what?
That's so
like, I was like crying every night. And I refuse to cover shifts there now. They asked me, hey, will you cover at the convenience store? I've been drinking. Sorry. No.
I love that excuse.
It's noon. I've been drinking.
Sorry.
No. Like, and I mean, I've made jokes about it. I'm like, I will cover breaks there because I have to. but I will not cover a shift there. Never again.
Yeah, that sounds
No.
awful.
I was actually genuinely thinking about quitting. It was terrible. Okay. I have one more if you.
I have one more.
Okay.
So, you've definitely heard about this one
Yeah.
before, but my biggest pet peeve. So, the way that the case that my cake is in is set up is it's shelves
Yeah.
and it's glass, but like I only have my 2 doors that that are glass.
Yeah.
And customers
Yeah.
were on the daily. This is kind of a two-parter. Go. I want a slice of that one and point.
I can't see it.
I cannot see what you are
No.
looking at. I do not know what you are. What? It's so infuriating. Okay. Like, I have one customer that is allowed to point. He is a very old man.
Yeah.
Who I'm pretty sure cannot do that much speaking.
Yeah.
He is the only one that is allowed to point at what he wants.
Yeah.
Anybody else, out.
Go.
I will. It happens to everybody. One of my coworkers will be very passive aggressive about it and be like, "I'm sorry, which one is that? I can't see what you're pointing at."
Good.
And I typically just do the which one, and if they point again, that's when I'll do that. I can't see what you're pointing at.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's also a two-parter because the really frustrating point is when they touch my glass. Stop touching it, because they do it to show me where the product is in the case. And so many times I want to go, I loaded the case. I put the cake and the pastries in there. I know where they are. That thing you're pointing at, I put it there.
Yep.
And that just drives me insane. They're like, yep, that one right there. And they're touching my glass. And I'm like, I have to clean that. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for that. It's just, it's so infuriating. It's lazy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is it's lazy.
Yeah, just read what it says on the thing.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Someone gets paid to make those signs for you to read them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are like some exceptions, like if you can't read English all that well. Yeah. But most of the time, it's not that case.
No, it's like just entitled people.
It's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, that was my last one.
All right. My last one is the time I actually threatened to quit. So it was a concert night. Mm-hmm. It was incredibly busy. I was already having a bad day. And like, concert nights are insane. One time, this is a different night, but one time I had to like walk on glass for hours because I dropped a bottle and it was too busy for me to clean it up. And I had to put towels on the ground and just feel it crushing beneath me.
That's crazy.
It was insane. I was already crying. My manager is never in the venue. He is such a great guy. I care about him so much as a person. He is never in the venue to help me. I make a mistake, I call him, he fixes it.
Yeah.
But in the moment, like, he sees I have a line, he keeps walking. he keeps walking right on by the venue to his office.
I know this manager. I'm gonna go fight him.
Yeah. And he was having like problems at home, and he left early without giving me my break. And he claims he asked the retail manager, who's technically my manager, but she's also kind of not, to cover my breaks. But she says that she doesn't remember that. And her employees had to take their own breaks. So I didn't get my break until about 30 minutes before I closed the venue. And that was the last Saturday I ever closed, because the next day I went to my boss. Well, Monday I went to my boss because he works Monday to Friday. And I was like, I'm going to quit if I have to keep closing Saturdays. I've done this for a year. I've been the primary closer. I can't do it anymore. One of these days I am going to snap and walk out.
Yeah.
I can feel it. One of these days I'm going to mess up a drink. I'm going to accidentally make it caffeinated when it was supposed to be decaf, and I'm just going to chuck it on the ground and leave. Like, walk out those doors. And it was like, I don't know why it's so hard for him to communicate things with like people. Like, he works, so I work with him on Friday and Saturday, and then I work with my other manager on Sunday and Monday, and I'll be like, I don't know if he told you this, and she's like, he didn't tell me that. I'm like, cool.
Of course he did.
Of course he didn't. And like, I try to have so much sympathy for him, but sometimes sometimes it gets to me. And yeah.
No.
And I've told him like, yeah, I threatened to quit because of you, dude. I've
Okay.
said it to his face.
He deserves to know that.
I'm like, dude, yeah. Like, I was like, I will literally quit.
I just hit my elbow. That really hurt. It sent tinglies in my hand. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was so random. Ugh.
Yeah, it was a rough day for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And the problem is like we run on a skeleton crew. It's
Mhm.
just me in that venue alone. On like the busiest nights of the year. I think
Mhm.
Thanksgiving is like the only time we ever have two people, not even Christmas, not even New Year's. Like
That's
and the only
crazy.
reason we have two people on Thanksgiving is because they do free drinks for all the employees to show how thankful they are, but I don't feel very thanked.
Yeah,
As the
that's
barista who has to work that and get yelled at, I didn't work. I don't work on Thursdays. But last Thanksgiving was so bad that my manager emailed all of the directors and was
Mhm.
like, we cannot do these free drinks anymore. I
Yeah.
had baristas almost walk out. I had baristas crying because they were screaming at us because they couldn't get fraps. But not us. I wasn't there. They
Yeah.
were
That's truly terrible.
like, yeah. So it's like a skeleton crew and I'm just there alone.
And he provides zero help.
Like no support to me. And I'm like, dude, I mean, at least you fixed that time I accidentally closed out someone else's till. But like, at least you fixed that.
But every other time, absolutely not.
No.
Anyways, I did think of something really quickly
Okay,
while you were talking.
Yeah.
I thought of another customer that I just about punched in the face.
Go ahead.
So we sell macaroons or macarons. Sorry,
Macarons.
macaroons and macarons are two different things. And I was giving this guy his macarons. Okay, and I am putting him in the container. He tells me the flavors, and I go, "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" I heard something like that. Anything else I can do for you today? How can I help? Anything else I can help you with? And he goes, "Can you feed it to me?" I just about jumped over, and it's not a short case. It's like comes to my like collarbone. Like it is at least 5 feet.
Yeah.
I almost jumped over. Oh my god! And my like manager and my like second in command, senior, were like at the counter, not too far away from me. It's like 5 feet away. And they turn around, and because they heard it, and I looked at him again, and I said, "Excuse me." I think I said, "What?" Yeah, you're right. I think I went, "What?" And he's with like some girl and his friend, and his friend's laughing. And I go, "What?" to see if he'll say it again. And he did. He said,
I hope he gets hit by a bus.
But he like but he could tell by my response that I had that he had fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was like, "Can you feed it to me?" And I so badly wanted to be like, "No, but you can find yourself another server and walk away."
Yeah.
I wanted to do that so bad, but my manager was right there, and I'm sure she would have supported me, but I'm like, just get this freaking...
Yeah, get him out.
Get him out.
Oh, god damn.
I just forgot about that until now.
Dude, did I ever tell you that I got invited up to a hotel room once?
Oh my god!
And I was like, I think I literally said, "I'm on the clock, sorry." Like, no way.
That's great. Anyways.
Like, I just remembered that.
We have...
Men are disgusting.
Yeah.
And to think I'm becoming one.
That's your choice.
You know.
Well, anyways, we've decided we're not going to do questions this round.
Because that's, like, stupid.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk about. So, take this time. Please be nice to anybody in the customer service industry. They're trying their best.
Maybe just, like, have some sympathy, some, like, basic decency. Don't yell at anyone, you know?
Yeah, so... Anyways, that's it. Next week, Easton gets to talk about Dragon Age again. So that's exciting.
I was gonna take like a longer break about it, but then they announced that the new game should come out this year, and I'm like, I gotta speedrun it.
Yeah, speedrun it. Gotta go.
Anyway,
Alrighty. So we'll talk to you next time.
Next time.